Hey guys, I'm Amaroth, and in the last episode we have created a concept of our simple tutorial project. So we will now go ahead and start building this island. And in this tutorial we will make just a simple outline of our terrain and of our city. So I have created a new map. If you don't know how to create a new custom map, you will need to watch another video from different series. I will link that video in the description. So let's assume that you already have your map created. So let's just open Nugget and move there. So the first thing I always do when I'm creating these outlines, I turn my map counter infos in view menu on by F9, and now I will just start creating my outlines. So what should my island look like? Like this, okay. So let's get into it. So I will make just a basic outline of my island. And that's pretty much it. Now this may start looking quite tiny, like quite a small island. Just to give you an idea, let's go to assist menu, helper models, human scale. This is a player. You can't even see him. So don't worry, this isn't too small. This is really a decent island, I would say. So when I've got my outlines of my coasts, I will create mountains. So I wanted two mountains, so one over here approximately, and it should be the bigger one, and one over here, the smaller one. When I've got my mountains, I will probably should start making a more complex stuff. So let's make some sort of this thing. I don't even know what should I call it in English. It doesn't matter. I'm creating just a sketch of my mountains. I'm just trying to figure out what should it look like here. So I'm getting now more into detail, basically. And when I've got this done, let's move to another step. Let's increase our brush size again and lower its speed. And now I can erase whole island up, which prevents my terrain from remaining flat. And that's quite important. Don't use flat terrain. Make sure that your terrain is unglued and that it isn't just one huge flat plane. Okay, so now I've got my basic sketch of my island basically. Moving on to water, so let's create a water. I always create water at height level 0. It is always created on level 1, so I always hit this -1. So let's create water. Minus doesn't work for some reason, whatever. And when we've got our water as as one huge plane, I didn't want to clear texture to create water. This is probably one of the most inconvenient things in Nugget, creating water and applying part of it. So now it's done. I won't create water for another ADTs. Those are just border ADTs. They aren't even important now. And when we've got our water, we will just lower our terrain a little bit. You don't need to lower it too much. We don't want to really, again, we don't want to go too much into detail. We want to just create a sea so we can get a first look on our island and get an idea what it will look like. It doesn't really have to completely match our concept. We just need to make something which is reasonable, and now we can start thinking, is this okay? Is this what we want? Isn't it too small? Isn't it too big? Don't we want to add something more into it? Let's say that this isn't enough, so you'd like to create a third mountain on, or we would like to create some sort of cave and a place for that cave, or let's say that we would like to add some castle to it. So it's really like now it's place for thinking and for trying to determine what should our zone look like. When this is done, I would like to start with building a city. Why? Well, first of all, buildings are quite big models and they need to have flat ground under them, which means that cities are quite terrain dependent, and terrain is quite city dependent, in fact. So it's quite a good practice, quite a good idea to make a basic city layout when terrain is being just prepared basically. Before you create detailed terrain, have your city already prepared. So let's move to our model viewer and let's pick some buildings. You would probably usually use some more southern buildings or region buildings. I will just use basic vanilla buildings for this tutorial. Two-story. We don't have to be too fancy here right now. In fact, it's easier to use, for example, these vanilla buildings because they have a very high bottom of them, which makes them much easier to spawn. So here we've got our first building. You can take a look into our sketch. You want it two-story here. Okay, so let's place it here. And we want it about 4 farms. So let's pick up some farm model. Let's use, for example, this one. You want it? I haven't. Okay. You want it one here, one here, and here. Okay, let's use some, let's say, barn. Okay, some barn. Let's put that here. Okay, and that's pretty much it. We don't need to get more fancy here. So now I will just create my city basically. I will just move my buildings, rotate them, and think about what should it look like. Now I think that this maybe isn't enough. Maybe this is a stupid place, so let's move it to here. We don't really need to match our concept art approximate. We just need to make something approximately similar. We'll just keep toying around with it. Let's say that, okay, this doesn't really work, so let's erase terrain here, and let's put this two-story building on some sort of hill. May be better idea. When you are doing this, you may come up with idea that you would like to add some sort of guard tower, maybe. Hopefully I can find some normal one, okay. And okay, let's scrap this idea. Let's not use guard tower, but still, you can still keep modifying your concept. You are still making just a layout, just a concept. little note here. I will I will speak about layouts and about landscapes later, but quite an important thing. Try to keep your buildings on multiple different levels, on multiple different areas. Don't make just one huge flat plane and spawn buildings next to each other on it. Don't use flat planes. Make your make some sort of hills or cliffs and really try to keep buildings on multiple different levels. I'm going to flatten angle, I want to flatten like this. And now I will just make flat planes for my buildings to sit on. Okay, let's put those on one plane, those two here, and let's create one plane for this one. Okay, let's make some sort of cliff. And now, as you can see, I'm already getting an idea of what should my terrain look like here. It's just a basic concept, it's just a basic layout, but my city is already getting fleshed out a little bit more. Again, you don't need to go too much into detail. You just want to make a basic concept. And when you've got this done, you can again move buildings a little bit so they match terrain now. And it's still moving the terrain, moving buildings, moving the terrain, moving buildings over and over, moving between those 2 points until you are happy with what you have created. Now you got your just a basic shape of our terrain here, and okay, let's say that there's something missing over here. So after creating this city, I have decided that there should be, for example, some sort of another smaller mountain here and here probably as well. Make it a little bit more interesting and kind of hidden and protected between those mountains. And yeah, that's it. So I think that this is enough, this is okay. And this is basically what I wanted to make. I wanted to make some sort of outline, some sort of concept of my map, and now I am able to go more into detail basically. And I will go more into detail of terrain modeling in next video. So uh, that's it for now. I hope this was useful for you guys. I'll catch you next time. Take care and happy modding.